Building. Hey there, how are you doing? And welcome to this afternoon's Dogs of Influence drawing. And today we're going to draw Gus, who is a French Bulldog. And you might be wondering where the music is coming from. I'd like to know myself. There was a book, this little series of books I was going to write about 10 years ago. And something happened in bookshops. When you went into children's bookshops, they were pink. Every book was pink. They were all fairy books. And I thought, this isn't right. You know, boys need books as well. And I wrote this little series of books for boys, and they were called Bobby and Buster, the Football Pups. And basically, each story was them saying, pass to me, no, pass to me. He shoots. And it was, little boys, when they're kind of playing a game, playing football, they kind of take on a character of a famous footballer. And, oh, I'm so-and-so, and he runs down the wing, and he's coming in, and he goes in, and they do this football commentary, and he shoots, and he scores, and they go running around. And basically, that's what the stories were. These two little boys running around, pretending to be, except they're puppies, pretending to be sort of great footballers, and doing this ding-dong kind of chat. Which boys do. and so it was sort of an idea that I had. I thought would be sort of very for boys. And so I took it to publishers, and it gets very sexist. Okay. So children's publishing is dominated, absolutely dominated by women, the actual sort of publishing side of it. And whoever I took it to, they just kind of went, I don't get it. I said, it's for boys. And they went, I don't get it. And so in the end I gave up. But while I was doing this idea, I had I sort of put together this whole little thing, and I found, I think on GarageBand, I'm pretty sure it's GarageBand, I found this loop, which was that piece of music, and I added all the stuff to it, as well as a kind of an introduction to my presentation. And I was so convinced that this was a brilliant idea. I actually sent these packages out to, I think, about sort of 5 or 6 different publishers at the same time, offering them to sort of suggesting, get in there quick, make offers. And they all came back and said, what? We don't get this at all. So either they were absolutely right, or I was absolutely right and sort of gave up. So perhaps I should go back and have another look at Bobby and Buster one day. With self-publishing now, you can just sort of do these things, and maybe I was right after all. So that's where the music comes from, and that's not what you came here for at all. What we are going to do today is we are going to be drawing. Let me show you. Gus. Stephanie has created her own children's book about her deaf Frenchie, Gus, during the pandemic. He has inner superpowers, and he really is a pretty amazing dog in real life. I lost my brother, says Stephanie, who was one of my best friends, in September. It has crushed our family, as I can well and truly imagine. I was in the midst of drawing the book. I'm not an illustrator, but was trying to step out of my comfort zone, as art is my therapy, as I think it is for many people, and probably many of you watching now. He was always my art critic, and I was always sending my daily drawings. He became an integral part of the book and is forever in the book since I dedicated it in honour of him. I was 1 week away from finishing the book when he died, so he never got to see it. He loved Gus and even admitted to having a bro crush on him. Mike was so funny. So here we are. We can see some of the artwork here that Stephanie's done. I knew I had to get the book done. I know that feeling. I self-published it on Amazon in October to help raise money for his wife. And you'll find links in the description box below to Amazon there, if you'd like to get a copy yourself. To cope with the loss, I started doing daily drawings and decided to try and do a second book about the pandemic. Gus has been my inspiration and therapy throughout these difficult times. Our next book is about how he uses his imagination to help us get through the pandemic. He shows us how to appreciate the little things, spreading love and kindness, and just being creative. I would love to share Gus with you. I have been struggling with getting a consistent character in my drawings. Some are cartoony and others are more realistic. I would love to share both and see if you have any suggestions on how to tweak him and possibly share him in your next book. That would be amazing. so he could be in 2 books. That's kind of weird, isn't it? So let me come back to here. Yeah, so as I was saying, creating a character, it doesn't just happen like that. And I think if you are particularly sort of trying to draw a character that you know, a dog that you know, or a person that you know, it's difficult to kind of move away and sort of say, right, okay, that it's not actually you anymore. It's a character based on you. And so you need to do a lot of sort of drawings from photographs and sort of getting that sort of feel for the character. But once you're almost there, you need to put the photographs away, because every time you go back and think, oh, how was that? Then you're going to lose the cartooniness and you're going to go back to that kind of photographicness again. So you really have to put the photographs away and get to know this character really well. And that takes a lot of daily drawing, which you are doing, Stephanie, and it shows. So so let me have a look. So there we are. There we are. It's the other camera. The audio is muted. So I think you've got... Let me know if that's all come through. I think it has. There we are. There's that. Gus. Crispin says Gus's deafness must be catching. Yes, I'm sorry about that. It's back now. It's yeah, good. So I think we're back to normal now. So I will go to the overhead camera and start doing a little bit of drawing. And as you can see, I'll just check that we got sound coming through. Yes, good. And as you can see, that I have been trying to draw French Bulldogs, and they're not easy. They are not easy at all. And to get one particular character is not easy either. And so I'm thinking in terms of a character rather than a portrait. So this is what I'm trying to achieve. So I need my glasses on, and I need a pencil. I don't want that pencil. I can't find any of the... No, some days that I want a particular kind of pencil. There's one hiding underneath there, and I'll just sharpen it up. I should have done this all beforehand. Tomorrow is Saturday, and on Saturdays, every other Saturday on Patreon, I have my live Zoom tutorials where my patrons come on from all over the world, and we just sort of get together, and I can do a tutorial, and we kind of work our way through it. And in the morning and the afternoon, so that suits people east of London in the morning and west of London in the afternoon. And so to be able to do that, I mean, having to do tomorrow's video, which I'm sort of set to go at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So I've sort of done that, and then I'm thinking, is that today? Is that tomorrow? So I don't know what day it is, and I'm running out of time. This is quite a project I've set myself. I didn't realise quite how much work it was, especially when I have to do strange double days. Right. So what am I doing here? I'm going to start with a circle for the head, which is kind of what I usually do, and I'm going to I want a little bit of a tilt, sort of an inquisitive kind of look, and roughly sort of quarter that circle, and this is where I'm going to put the nose. So it's quite a substantial nose, and as I've been doing this, I've sort of find most dogs' noses are sort of kind of like that, and then sort of come down there like that. See, I'm learning such a lot. But a Frenchie's nose is a bit like that. It's kind of a fan shape with 2 little nostrils there coming down that way. And really it should sort of go down like that. Look, which I don't really want. I want to have a sort of a happy kind of smiley... But should I? I don't know. I'm just instinctively feeling I kind of want a bit of a smiley face. So maybe I shouldn't. You see, what I've been doing here is trying to get a smile in there, and maybe that's where I'm going wrong, and it should be more of a sort of a Frenchie kind of look. So if I go down like that, and then we want, you might still be able to get it's kind of not, that mouth is not really saying anything, that's the thing. Whereas if I sort of do come up like that, you can get a little smile in there, and you can get a kind of a human mouth and create sort of shapes and words in amongst that mouth, which you can't quite do otherwise. So here we want to have a curve coming down there off the nose, and then we've got a double curve here, so there's a fold that comes around up there and down and up into there, and then we've got a kind of that's the chin, so it's quite complicated. And then we're going to want the eyes pretty much sort of on the line there, and eyeballs, and we want it all to kind of look really soft as well, which is quite difficult. And then the ears, they just sort of go up a little bit like that first, and then they seem to be quite parabolic at the top, which is quite a hard thing to achieve. And they sort of come in a bit like that, and then down, and there's that kind of weird wiggly thing that dogs have in their ears. I suppose ours aren't pretty weird. Yeah, if a dog was drawing a human, they go, oh, humans, they got those weird wiggly things inside their ears. I'm not one to talk, am I, really? And now if I've got my head to the one side, you'll all be looking at my ears now, and they only got weird wiggly ears. Ooh. Right, so there, and we kind of want to have a little wiggles on the top as well, like that. So they are stocky little dogs. I think this is actually coming down a bit too far. I'm just going to rub that all out, because it's just not quite getting the character. So I can see what's there. Let me just zoom in a bit more. There you go. I'm going to move this nose up a bit. I think that's kind of what's not quite right. And what was I doing at the fan, wasn't it? That's right. And then that's there. So I want to bring that around there, and that more up there, like that. And then that will sort of come down to there like that, and and then that sort of will come around to there, and that will come. It's going not. I don't want it coming down quite so deep. Again, I think so. We'll bring that more kind of around to about there, and this is really difficult. You can tell I'm struggling today. And then we want a bit of the chin sort of. No, the chin needs to be that bit lower. So we do want to come down. I do want to go just a little bit lower than the circle, and then I think the eyes will come up just that bit higher, like that. And this is a really difficult thing, again, in creating characters. You know, you really need to kind of work out exactly, you know, the eyeballs are on that line, and the nose is on that line, and work out all these proportions. If you want to consistently draw a character accurately, you need to work out all those proportions. So we're going to have little folds on the back, and then sort of coming down there, and they have stocky little bodies. I just don't think I'm getting quite that Frenchie look somehow. And that's sort of going to come down to there, and then out and down, and about like that. And we've got sort of powerful forearms, and legs. So that wants to be, paws will be about here, I think. So we'll have another paw about there, and another paw about there. I was thinking about this, trying to, how do we get these dogs to stand on the ground so that they're not kind of wobbling. If you imagine that it was a model, the one leg isn't shorter than the other, so it kind of rocks if you put it on the mantelpiece. And I think what we're really after is we're sort of wanting to get that to feel as if that is actually sort of flat on the floor. And those sort of pads will be, the foot pads will be sort of down there somewhere. So we're wanting to kind of connect them up so that they look right. That's going to be about there, I think. We're going to want a little carpal pad about there. And then we've got a sort of toe there and a toe there. And I'm going to have a toe there and a toe there. We're going to have a little dew claw there and a carpal pad there. And here again, we're going to want we want to see sort of two claws there and a claw there. That's going to sort of come back that way, and then simply two claws. Well, they're digits, and then the claws are sticking out of them like that. And then funny little tail. It's going to be not more than that, I don't think. So from that, I'm going to get my layout pad. So this is very thin, Seawhite of Brighton, 50 grams per square inch. All the links for everything I'm using today are in the description box below for Amazon. And if you follow those links, I will get an affiliate fee, but you will not be charged extra. But you'll be helping me to keep running this channel. and if you're in America, and you won't find Seawhite on that link, I don't think. But I think I've got Strathmnore, which looks pretty much the same. But I can't vouch for it. But I imagine it's pretty much the same. And also with the watercolor paper I'm going to use, I had to choose a different one, so I sort of chose Canson there, which looks about the same quality and price. And it's these ears. We don't want a point at the top. There's such delicate kind of parabolic curve up at the top there, like that. So let's do this nose sort of coming down, little fan, maybe a bit bigger. So we have that sort of coming around there. And I'm going to make that just slightly more floppy, like that. And then that's going to just sort of go like that. And then we can have some little teeth smiling there, which isn't really kind of quite how French Bulldogs do. And we want the eyeballs there, and we'll have sort of a couple of there we are. I'm trying to get this roundness. They have very much a kind of a round sort of face, don't they? And then gravity will be bringing that down a bit there. I feel we should have a collar on here, which will be a bit tight, I imagine, like that. And we'll have something there and a little chain thing. And I think that we should have a little souvenir Eiffel Tower hanging on there with Gus's name engraved on the back and phone number, just in case it gets lost. So we've got a little tail there, and that will come here, and then we want to have these little claws are going to be sort of noticeable, like that. Little claw, And we got the dew claw there as well, remember, and a carpal pad, so we'll bring that back. And then we got that sort of curve, that ogive curve there. I keep talking about muscle memory, and doing this every single day, there are certain things that I'm beginning to get. So this sort of this curve here that's gone a bit too much there. It's because I'm talking about it rather than doing it. So this curve here, I'm beginning to kind of just do that instinctively now, whereas before I've always kind of hesitated and, oh, I don't want to do that. And so it's sort of getting into my muscle memory in my hand that I don't quite have to think about it so much. And we have these little claws like that. I think we're kind of there now. So I am now going to get some watercolor paper. So this is that's a bit grubby. This is Seawhite of Brighton. Get the right side. There's a pattern on each side. So that's this. I don't know if you can see. It's got a slightly wavy pattern there, and here it just has a kind of a dimple pattern. It's the dimple that you want. And this is the 350 grams, so it's really quite heavy duty. You can, and here it's like card. And I'm going to stick that onto there. So this is my light pad where I can trace through. And if you're new and you're going, oh, that's cheating, he's tracing, then relax, it's not. It's only cheating if you're copying somebody else's work and claiming it as yours. This is all about getting it in the right place on the paper and getting all the details. So I'm copying my own work, so it can't be cheating, can it? So, and this is where we want to get that. Oh, there's something, a funny little thing there, which I've just pretended like I know what I'm doing. There, so I think this has to be my next thing, is to work out what that is going on in dogs' ears, and I'll become a dog ear expert. And just put those little things in there to remind me. I think we'll have a little bit of expression. The eyes. I always like to get the eyes in quite soon, because that's when you kind of connect with the character. It's that sort of eye contact, and I find once I've got the eye contact, then I sort of treat the character a little bit more differently somehow. And then I want that comes to that, and then like that. And I want to do these. I'm going to do that in a fairly hesitating sort of line. So I'm sort of not pressing hard, because I want these to be fairly soft. And there's the chin. That sort of comes down there. And then that's the teeth, and there's a little happy little smile. That's what we want. And then we'll get the sort of curve in there. I think that's getting a sort of a puggy look. It's not a pug, it's a French Bulldog. I can hear the dog people go, it's not a pug, it's not a pug, it's a French Bulldog. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. Maybe I'm thinking pug. Now we're talking. So yeah, when you've got breeds which sort of have similarities, and of course the pug and French Bulldog aficionados go, psh, 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 no similarity at all. But I think if you've got kind of similarities to things, it's very easy to start assuming one is the same as the other, and they're not. So I think when you think of a pug, I think they're kind of more of a sort of Pekingese without fur on, aren't they, really? So we're going to do that like that. Actually, let me put a little G in there, and then we're going to kind of do something like that. just to make it look like it's the Eiffel Tower. Trust me. And that's going to come there, and I'm going to let that kind of just sort of dot away up there with right, and then I'm going to start here. Actually, I'm going to do this little claw and that little claw so that I can sort of bring that around there. I'm going to need another one there, and then we've got the little carpal pad there, and we can come back up to the big stocky shoulders, and we're going to have a similar thing going on down here. So I'm going to do a little claw and a little claw there so that I can just draw that there, and a claw going off there, and carpal pad going there, so that we can bring in this claw here, and then this will be kind of like that there. And there is another one, but it's kind of hidden around the other side. And so I'm sure Gus has got a lot more going on there, but this is a family show, so I'm going to sort of leave those bits out. And also this is it's a children's book character, so you don't want too much detail, do you? Right, there we go. And so, I mean, the other thing, of course, is I haven't got complete reference for Gus, so he might have a completely sort of, like a Dalmatian bottom or something like that, but I don't know, because it's hidden inside his case, so I'm assuming things here. I'm going to put a little bit of a line behind there. I might as well. And so now, if I take that off there and switch the lights on again, yay! I can see what's going on. I'll just move that over there a bit, tape it down. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit there, and then I'll get my watercolours if I can find them. Yeah, here we are. So this is the Winsor & Newton Cotman Sketches Pocket set, and it's a good basic set if you want to start watercolour. If you've not done watercolour before, this is a really good set to start with. And I've done a kind of a 101 for this set. I should do another one. It's got everything you basically need in there, and I tried to use this set to show you what you can do with it. And this is an Aquash water brush, so the water is in the handle. It's made by Pentel. All the links are below. And so the water flows through the brush. You can squeeze it and water will come out, but you don't really want to do that because it just flows. And if you squeeze it too much, it kind of blocks it as well. So we want some pink. So I'm getting, this is alizarin crimson. And the more you add water, so I'm just kind of slightly squeezing, just tiniest bit of pressure. The more water you add, the more pink it gets, the more pale pink it gets. And so that's all we want, is a really nice sort of pale pink inside the ears there. Like that. And I have a piece of grotty kitchen towel here. I'll get some clean. I always have kitchen towel at hand. When I go out sketching, I take a pocket full of kitchen towel with me, and if I have a sandwich or something in a sandwich bar, I usually stuff the napkin in my pocket, and that gets used as well. So by the end of the day sketching, I've got pockets full of dirty old napkins with things. I'm just going to have another look at Frenchie. Where are we now? Let me go back to the other. There we go, Gus. So Gus is sort of a bit pink round the gills, isn't he? Yeah, there we go, pink round the gills. Good, there we are. And So I think I've actually made him a little bit wide, possibly. I don't know. So let's have a bit of sort of a pink around there. I think there's maybe too much. So you can always dab away because it's just, you've just done it very light pink. That's all we need. I'm going to have a bit of pink in these paws as well. I think we're not going to have a lot of painting going on this, I don't think. Like that. Gus, Gus hasn't got a collar on, so I'm going to have to imagine something. And Gus has got lovely brown eyes. So, so I'm going to get a bit of orange, bit of yellow there, just to add to this sort of brown mess that I've got there. And around the top here, I'm going to leave a little white patch, which blends into the pupil, which has got that little white spot in there as well. And similarly around here, I'm going to leave a little white bit around the top there. And just carefully paint that in there. And then this is burnt sienna. I'm going to get that bit stronger colour. And I'm just going to drop that in around that white spot. I'm just dabbing and dropping in while it's wet. So we get a wet on wet effect, that it just sort of fades into the colour that we just did while it's still wet. And you get a nice sort of smooth graduated tone. You get sort of a bit of a liquid look in the eye. And we need to do the nose, I think. So I'll get a little bit of sort of bluey grey here, which is already mixed. I'm just going to put that in the teeth like that, a bit of shadow so that the lips are creating, I'm putting a bit more pink in above it, the lips are creating a shadow on the teeth underneath. And then we need a nice dark nose. So this is always a problem with this because we don't have black, but we don't want black because black is problematic in watercolour. So I'm mixing burnt sienna here with French ultramarine, and depending on how you mix it, it either goes very dark brown or very dark blue, and somewhere in the middle you get quite a good grey. And so I'm going to just leave a little bit of white in there as well. Watercolour is all about light, and the light in a watercolour is coming from the paper. So imagine that like this light pad here has got physical light coming out of it. Imagine that the paper is a light source and it's shining at you. And the paint that you put on the top is like a filter. So you know those sweets, candies that have cellophane wrappers on that are transparent. You put them over your eye and look at the world, and the world goes all sort of purple or green or something. That's essentially what you're doing, is you are putting glazed colours, sort of filters, like sort of colour filters over the white, which is the light of the page. And so you need to be careful and not add too much, because you make it dark, and that's why we don't have black, because it just knocks it all out. I'm trying to think I think we'll have a kind of a bluey kind of colour for the collar. I often say about it's a left brain, right brain thing, and when you're drawing and trying to think of the right word at the same time, sort of not compatible. See, I came up with the word compatible. That's pretty good. And the more you concentrate on the drawing, then sort of the less you can find the word. The mot juste, says Gus in a French accent. Does Gus speak in a French accent? Being a French bulldog. Hello. Je m'appelle Gus. Hello, how are you doing? I'm sorry, I speak in a very bad French accent. Désolé. And so I'm making a tiny bit of, that's just too dark, so I'm going to mix that in with that pink so it just gets slightly pink. I'm going to have a little bit of shade in there as well, but I'm cleaning the brush and then just sort of washing water into it so that it sort of fades. And we're going to want shade underneath here as well, and probably a little bit around. You see, once you've started, oh dear, here we go. We're going to want some sort of shade around there, and probably a bit around there and down there. We'll have some sort of shade down there and there and in there. And now I'm just adding clear water just to take those hard lines away. And here, so I'm going to add clear water on the top just to kind of wash those hard lines away. And I'm going to have a little bit of sort of darker shade down there. And then we might have a bit of shade around the rump there. I think I'm allowed to say rump. And we got these little folds. That's picked up something nasty there, so I think we can kind of have those little folds around there. I think we need something just a bit more. Oh, that's the wrong colour. That's completely the wrong colour. Let me get rid of that. I want something a bit more grey in there. And let's have another look at Gus, because he's got all his markings on his mouth, right? And that's sort of part of what makes Gus Gus. Is those markings. So we're going to want let's go back again. Sort of, yeah. It's quite hard to do, I think, and we're sort of anthropomorphizing him with the mouth, and then sort of making all this mess around his mouth at the same time. So we want a bit more sort of going around there, and I think we could maybe make that a little bit darker. Wash the brush and just kind of wash that out. So it's not so obvious. And looking at him again, he's sort of quite pinky browny around the eyes. So I'll get a bit more of that pink, and we'll have a bit more sort of pink around the eyes like that. And again, cleaning the brush, constantly cleaning the brush to sort of wash it out. I think we need a bit more something going on around there. This is very difficult, isn't it? I keep saying I'm just hedging my bets here. Everyone go, oh yes, it's very difficult. Yeah, poor Shoo. Oh. It's a really difficult one. Oh. So, I'm fishing for, again, you see, words, not compliments, fishing for sympathy. Fishing for sympathy, that's what I'm doing. And I think I need a little bit more in there. A little bit more there. And then all I'm going to do is to get a little bit of mush down here, mush down there like that. Clean the brush. And then just, I am squeezing now. And I'm just going to let that kind of float into the water down there. And there we go. I think I'm going to say that is Gus. It's the beginnings of Gus. I think for me to turn that into a character, I still need to do a lot more drawing. And I think, in fact, well, you see thought I was finished, but I'm not really. I think we need some little kind of dots and stuff in there, but no, I can't fit that in. I think I need to do a lot more drawing. I think it still needs a bit more underneath there probably as well, yeah. Which means then more underneath. Once you start putting the shading in, you just can't stop. How are we doing? If I go to that, then I can move this across a bit like that, and I can zoom in a bit. And you can look at me, and you can look at Gus. Let me come and see what you have to say. So I just need to get on and draw while I'm doing this, but I'll come back and have a look at your questions and comments. So yeah, sorry, you missed a lot at the beginning, didn't you? Cable says you are good. Well, thank you very much. Oh, I see. Yes, you mean the sound is good. See, fishing for compliments. Karina, hi there. The sound is back to normal. Very moving story. It is. It is a very moving story. I think, you know, we've all got through lockdowns in our way, and I sort of get the reading between the lines. I sort of get the feeling that Stephanie has maybe been on her own with Gus during lockdown. I think it's quite difficult being on your own for a year. And which is why, you know, so the sales of dogs have, you know, and puppies have gone up like mad, haven't they, over lockdown? All sorts, you know, dogs being stolen and all sorts of stuff going on. And so yes, it is a very moving story, and all the stuff in the background, and I think it's probably been really good therapy just to sort of say, I'm going to write this book, I'm going to publish this book, I'm going to create this book, and, you know, learn stuff along the way. So well done, Stephanie. There we are. Crispin Dry, you never see French waiters in Paris smiling. I think I have, actually. I think I've sort of... I will try to have a joke with a French waiter, but it depends. I think they're just laughing at my bad French. I think probably. Chris, with the oil is burning, is that one of those expensive pencils you're using? This is a Palomino Blackwing. So I think I seem to remember this is one that is favoured by journalists for shorthand. It doesn't really work. I stopped using them because they're really, really nice and soft, and I stopped using them because they're really difficult to erase. If you make a mistake, no, it's ground into the paper. I think there's a lot of oil in them. But pencils are the ground up graphite, so that's the thing, and then the softer the pencil, the more wax is in there, and then the whole thing is baked together. So when you get a pencil, it isn't solid graphite, it's mixed with oils and sorts of stuff and baked into a solid thing. These are very soft, and I think when you write, which is probably why the shorthand people like them, it just glides across the page. But if you make a mistake and try to erase it, it's stained the paper, and it's not very good for that. So I stopped using them, and then I just recently sort of found this box that I had and opened them up. And they're really nice for this because I'm doing the different stages with the light pad, and I'm not too worried about erasing. And I used to then originally kind of do the pencil drawing, and then I'd draw the ink over the pencil, and then I'd erase the pencil. But that would tend to rough up the surface of the paper, and you wouldn't get a kind of a consistent sort of finish to the watercolour. So I stopped doing that. And I don't know how expensive they are because I bought these quite some time ago. I remember they were expensive because I bought them. They're American, and I sort of had them sent over from America, so they were the postage was quite pricey. Yeah. So oil is burning. I haven't seen your name before, but welcome, Crispin. Have you ever tried putting the layout paper sketch on the light pad and then the watercolor paper on the sketch and then painting directly onto it, bypassing the inking stage? Well, no, I haven't. And of course you've got the light coming through, so it's going to actually dull the paper, if that makes any sense. So let me sort of see what if I was to do that, and then we put a piece of paper. I'm not putting my best watercolor paper on the top, but you see, if I turn this off, if I turn that off, then this paper is kind of quite bright, and if I turn it on, then it's the light that's bright and not not the thing. Maybe you could sort of paint an outline, but I don't think you could paint it exactly, because you're seeing it differently. Yeah, I don't quite know how to explain that, really, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense, Chris? But Octavia B, how do you create a distinct colour palette for each of your characters, and how do you maintain the consistency throughout the book? That's tricky. I think a lot of that is experience and practice. I think if you're doing a lot of very flat kind of colours, I know some people will actually kind of mix up big pots, so they've got consistent. They know that that's character B's skin tone, and that's character C's sort of coat colour or something like that, so that they don't have to keep mixing them up. Like in Photoshop, you will have a little strip of colours that you can keep pulling down, or Procreate or whatever. And but other than that, I think it is practice. It's practice, and just keep working at it, and you just kind of know, oh, that's the colour that I had before, and you kind of have little charts around you. Certainly when I started, I used to make what they call character Bibles, and so I would have sort of sheets with the characters and from different angles, so that I could look at them and keep referring to them for the colours. But I think the more you do it, the more you just get used to doing it, and it sort of just becomes more second nature, kind of colour palette and things. And you tend to use your colour palette, and I do use rather a lot of browns, I think, in my, and I'm trying desperately to change that, because things can get a bit muddy when you have it. I've got a twitch in my eye. So you kind of build up your own palette, but at the same time you want to just keep pushing yourself a bit more to try new colours and things and see how things go. Gabriel says, this has been a great lesson in how to watercolour a character with white fur. Yeah, the less the better. Octavia B, Gus looks really nice and has a kind expression. That's kind of what I'm after, and yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm after. Joanne Hurd, hi Shoo, I'm Philip from Doncaster. Hi. Joanne is Philip. Hi Philip from Doncaster. That's very good drawing of Gus, thank you. Linda Mayher, hi. Difficult to do wrinkles on white fur. You've done well, thank you. yeah, white fur is quite difficult. Sort of, yeah, drawing a white character on white paper is, yeah. Karina, the dog drawings are getting harder. Not easy to capture his expression. It's challenging, but keep practicing. Exactly. Yeah. Linda May here. Is Zoom tomorrow 4 p.m. or 4:30? Karina says, hi Linda. I think she forgot to put the time on page. I did put it on there. Let me check. Oh my goodness. Okay. Did I not put it on there? It's not easy, is it? So talk amongst yourselves while I just do. Join us live. So I'm. What am I doing? I am looking on my edit. There we go. I'm looking on my Patreon page where in the evening 4:30. Yes, it says join us live on Zoom on Saturday. The afternoon one is at 4:30 p.m. London. Post. Yeah, it says that. It says it on there. Time, March the 13th. That's tomorrow, 2021, 4:30 p.m. Yeah, 4:30. Yes, it is 4:30. Charlie B, the thumbs up. Happy smiles. Thank you. Georgiana Irimia. And I'm just thinking about in Chatsworth, house, it's a big country house in Derbyshire in England, and they have a painting of Georgiana, but they don't call her Georgiana, they call her Georgiana. There we are. This sounds more posh, doesn't it? Hello, Georgiana. Paulina Anna 5. Hello, that's a great drawing. Do you always use watercolours or do you switch between mediums? No, I just use watercolour, and then sometimes I might come in with a little bit of coloured pencil just to sort of tweak little bits at the end. Every now and then. But I think, oh, I've got a terrible twitch. I think I've been doing too much dog drawing. I got the dog twitch. I think if you find a medium that you like, stick with it and then you will get better at it. If you keep thinking, oh, maybe I should be using crayons, maybe I should be doing oils, maybe I should be doing this, have a quick go at it and see if you like it. You know, maybe that's where you feel happy. But if you found something that you're happy with, stick with it and then you will become a master of that medium. If you keep flitting around between oils and acrylics and watercolour and pencils and stuff, you never quite get to, you know, master the media. Whereas if you stick with one, you'll get a lot better. That's what I say anyway. So, and that's what I decided myself a long time ago. Trails TM, how are you? Practice, keep drawing, and I'll see you in the next one. Absolutely. You take care now. Bye. You're trying to get rid of me. Octavia B, will you take a break from drawing dogs after finishing all 25 dogs? I certainly shall. Trails TM says, I am a sponge. It's a good word there, isn't it? Sponge. I'll get closer to the microphone. Sponge. Yeah. And Octavia, will I take a break? I certainly will. When this is all over, and it seems like a long way to get. Where are we? We're number 11 at the moment, aren't we? Sort of 22. So we're not far away from being halfway through. When we have finished doing this, then my plan is to really start working on the Wednesday drawing show. And I want to turn that very much into a kind of magazine show and just talk about drawing, stuff like that. And I have a book that I want to write. You may look, if you look down below, you'll see there is the, in my little thing underneath there, you can see that you can download, well, you can purchase my Everyone Can Draw book as a PDF. But you don't have to do that. You can come and join me on Patreon. Let me just press that button for a second. If you enjoy these shows and you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee to keep me going, head on over to patreon.com/Shoo Rayner, where you will find all the details of how you can support this channel. In the meantime, on with the show. Indeed, I have to keep saying that. If you want to support me on Patreon, you will get a PDF copy of Everyone Can Draw anyway, but you can buy one from down below. What was I saying? So anyway, when I did Everyone Can Draw, it was very much kind of with kids in mind, and I have got, I want to kind of do a grown-up version of that. And I've sort of got it all planned. I actually started it, and then and that's going to be my next big project, to write this book about drawing. Should I tell you the title? Should I give it away? I just don't know. Perhaps I should, yes. So then it's kind of, if I state it now, then that's copywriting it in theory. So it's going to be called The Golden Secrets of Drawing, and it's for adults basically who want to start drawing. And every drawing book I ever look at, they kind of start the same. These are the pencils that you need. These are the piece of paper that you need. So I might put that in at the end. It's not about that. I'm just saying you need a pencil, you need a paper. It doesn't matter what pencil, and it's just getting straight down to it. And I think also learning to draw, I think for a lot of people, it is a journey, and it is, as Jennifer was saying, it's art therapy, and I think there's a bit of therapy in there. And I think in the book, I want to have a little bit of not therapy, but encouragement, and it's like singing. I think drawing. And you know, if you've ever been asked to sing a solo or a cappella or something like that, and you stand there on your own, or you know, stand-up comedy, something like that, where you have to stand up on your own making a speech, and you are very exposed, and you are exposing yourself to potential ridicule, all sorts of things, and you have to be really quite brave to start drawing. So it's okay to draw on your own, and that's one thing I say. It's okay. Nobody has to see it. You don't have to put it in a frame. You don't have to put it on a wall. Nobody ever has to see your drawing. You can just get on with it. But if you do show other people, you'd be amazed at how impressed people are with just the merest talent at drawing. They're amazed at the fact that you can even dare to do it. And so that's sort of one thing, and it's that kind of encouragement, and not just talking about drawing, but about the journey of drawing and self-development that's kind of involved in it. So that's going to be my big project. Joanne has said, Shoo, hey Shoo, what is your favourite type of dog? That's really tricky. I think if I were ever to get a dog, I think it would probably be a working collie, working Springer, a working Springer collie kind of thing. They're kind of like a little miniature golden retriever kind of thing. I think that's kind of what I would probably have. Very much like Stella in my book, Walker. Did I mention this at the beginning? I forgot. So my book, Walker, the Missing Millions, is coming out on the 25th, and that's why I'm doing all of this. So it's about Walker, who's a boy who can talk to dogs, and this isn't his dog. He walks this dog every day. This is Stella, and so if I were to have a dog, it would be Stella. So she is my kind of fantasy dog, I guess. Yeah. Samuzo86 says, hi Shoo, a little picture of you hard at work drawing something there. Hi Shoo, I've been trying to remember the name of this dog-based children's book for a student brought in. The most wonderful illustrations I've seen. Something about a diva and a missing jewel, etc. Oh, I don't know. That doesn't ring any bells with me, I'm afraid. I think there's a website you can go to and you can say, does anybody remember this book? And people will tell you. So try that one. Trails to Yam says ASMR. Ooh. Samuso 86, but Google not helping, so must be quite rare. We'll let you know if I find it. Nice drawings as always. Thank you very much. Karina, The Golden Secrets Drawing is a great title. Thank you. Octavia B, taking the pressure off drawing is a very hard thing to do. Yeah, it is. It is there is nothing more scary than a blank sheet of paper, I don't think. It's a responsibility, isn't it? And you don't want to mess it up, and you want to get it right. Yeah, and it's better. It's just easier to go and have a cup of tea instead, isn't it? Maybe not do the drawing. Pauline Anna 5, thank you for great advice. Thank you, Pauline Anna. Paulina Anna. And so, well, there we are. I've come to the end of your chat. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds if you've got any last things that you'd like to ask me, because there's about a 10-15 second delay on the chat from while I'm talking. And I can see myself. Actually, if I go like that and see how long it takes. Oh, I should be counting. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that's it. It's about 15. It's a count of 15, something like that. So if you have no more to ask, then we've been at this for an hour. And I'm going to say thank you all very much for watching. And I won't be live tomorrow, but there will be another drawing. But it won't be live because I will be with my patrons on Zoom, and we'll be having a lovely time. You can join me on Patreon, and you could be joining us too. Very quickly, while you are watching this, look for a Well, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you click that little subscribe button, and when you do, ring the bell so that you get notifications of when I am going to go live next. You can come along and join in and bring your ideas as well. In the meantime, stay safe, keep well, and keep drawing. Practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.